these immigration problems that we're talking about, they're affecting Arizona. I've only seen one report, and it's about the ranchers on the border, and they're fighting for our country through their property. I don't know if the elected officials are helping them, but they're not getting to the national level. No one seems to be representing them like they are Texas or fighting for them. I mean, we could be wrong since it's just me and Dennis, and there's no producers or staff to look into these topics. But through my channel surfing and my look through the old interweb, I haven't seen much, help or talk or sympathy or empathy for Arizona.
Yeah, that's why we need to hear from people from the state of Arizona and the state of Texas. I mean, I saw one report that a Democratic senator doesn't feel that it's appropriate for reporters to tour these camps there where these migrant children are. Again, what don't they want us to see and know? And what are they trying to hide? Your brother Mike made a great point, and he said that the laws are put there to take the emotions out. Leaders aren't supposed to have, they put the laws to take the emotion out of the leaders. In other words, the laws are there to stop them from just feeling whether they're right or wrong. I mean, if you break it, we have to act. It doesn't matter whether we think you're right or wrong. The law states this: to stop the act. It has to stop rolling with emotion. I mean, our country is so divided right now, and it's because our politicians and the media want it that way. I don't know when the media got this way. I think it's been that way since Reagan. I mean, it could have been before that. I mean, I read a book about George Washington, and the media wasn't very friendly to him either. I mean, these people don't want solutions. They want us to believe that we hate each other, and we don't.
No, we don't. And, they're like this generation that Margaret was talking about, they feel like this government needs to be changed. I mean, I'm assuming, again, that this government needs to be changed because of the hate. And, if they would just look at, again, if you want to see what's going on in your world, then go outside, see what's around you, talk with your neighbors. That's the true news. What's going on with you and your neighbor and your neighborhood, that's what's going on. You don't need experts to be telling you what's going on around you. Just go out and talk with everybody. You'll understand that there's not as much hate as they wish to sell on the news, because that's what they're doing. They're selling the news.
It's crazy the way these people are, Jack.
Well, they're crazy, they're crazy because they don't have a leash. When they start talking nonsense, then the press doesn't hold them accountable. And that's what the press is. The press is supposed to be hard on every president, because that's the man in power. If there's a majority party, that party should be scrutinized and torn apart by the press every day. That's their job. I mean, we'll start stepping into current affairs, because the press, we understand the current affairs because we're older now and we watch the press. So in the current affairs, we literally had the President of the United States say democracy is in trouble. So instead of working their ass off to cover our differences and figure a path forward through diplomacy, he said the U.S. Senate should get rid of the filibuster. Well, the filibuster is to protect the minority party
from ridiculous legislation.
Right. This is the top of the chain, folks. There is no higher ranking person in government than the President of the United States. And to solve the problems of democracy, he wants to take away the power of democracy. Start thinking about what these people are saying and what they're doing. Why are they doing this? Why are they saying? What's their end game? Again, the leaders are showing their inability to work hard for the people. To take care of everything. Everything they take care of is the easy way. So if we're having a problem, cut it out. Scribble through the lines. Who cares? This is the President of the United States. He's already signed I don't know how many laws illegally. Dude, you're not supposed to make laws. Executive
does that.
orders are not legal.
Congress does that.
Right. Congress is supposed to make the laws. Unfortunately, they don't make laws either.
You know, Biden promised unity. Show me where the unity's been since he's been in office. Name one thing he's unified.
I'd like to see any one of these politicians. What has Lindsey Graham done? What has Tom Rice done? What has Mitch McConnell done?
As far
What
as I
has
can
McCarthy
see,
done?
nothing. As far as I can see.
You know, where are we?
You know, Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema, they're both Democrats, say they don't favor getting rid of the filibuster. I mean, if you're in their
Thank God.
districts, you need to reach out and tell them to vote no when it comes up. You know, and it will. You can bet on that. Again,
I tell you what, Dennis, it's up to their constituents not to let these two representatives feel the heat on their own, because they're going to feel it.
oh yeah,
You know,
they'll be pressured.
Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, they're going to be on these guys like a bum on a bologna sandwich.
Oh yeah.
These representatives, if you're listening to us in West Virginia, and
I forgot where she's from.
oh sugar, we gotta look. Listen, support these representatives. They're doing the right thing, and they shouldn't walk through the valley of fire on their own.
That's right. I mean, again, you have to think, what are they trying to accomplish by getting rid of it? I mean, I think it's about total control. They don't want your input. They want to have a say in the way government operates, not you. I mean, let's talk about California for a minute. It looks like they have enough signatures to recall Governor Newsom. I mean, he's another one that has to go. I mean, he's been the lockdowns and the hypocrisy and, you know, his kids going to private schools and he
And then
says
he goes on news and says how hard it is to teach his kids.
yeah, he has no clue.
His kids are going to private.
He was born with a golden spoon in his mouth.
Thank you, Aunt Nancy.
You know, that's right. You know, and if you're in New York, have you noticed that since all these allegations came out against Cuomo, the state is starting to open up quicker? I mean, wake up, people. These people are tyrants.
Yeah,
They don't
not
give
that he
a
killed 50,000 people.
they don't give a damn about us, Jack.
Yeah.
And thank God I don't live in New York anymore.
Yeah, you said that. Listen, regarding California, the one thing I'll be looking for is scandal. This election for governor in California and in New York, it's obvious display of power hungry, not representation. They're not representing anybody but themselves.
It's all about power.
Right. I feel that representatives like these two governors, they are the poster child of what's wrong with the government today. They're the reason that this podcast is on the air right now. They are both the executives to their states. And the only worry that they have is about them.
Yep.
If the people of California want to remove their governor, they should be allowed to move that governor without any outside interference. And that's what we got to keep an eye on. Because I think there's a little bit of history of interference.
Yeah, they only need like 1.5 million signatures. I heard they have like 2 million.
Well, now they got to check names.
Right, right.
Yeah. 3 months ago, they didn't have to check anybody's.
Right.
Dr. Seuss was allowed to sign. All his characters in his books were allowed to sign. Winnie the Pooh. All the people that are canceled today, they were allowed to vote in California. Now they can't even be on TV or in the library.
Yeah, you got that right. It's got to stop, folks. We got to take control. It's getting way out of hand.
All right, folks. Listen, we're running out of time. And so we got to wrap up this week's podcast. And I'm going to blast my way out of this podcast by saying this. I find myself sitting next to me, a man who defended the freedoms of this country and what the freedoms stand for. He wasn't forced to go to war or defend these meanings of freedom, but he went anyway, as so many other heroes did. I'm talking about Dennis right next to me. I feel these freedoms that were defended by our heroes are being taken away from us by the people that are supposed to protect us, the people in Congress. So let's not waste their sacrifice. Please, if you don't agree with this type of government, there's no reason why you don't agree with this government thoroughly or partially or the whole thing. Come on our podcast and debate your topics. for the heroes of today and the ones that are no longer here. But be sure, as long as this podcast goes on and politicians are being elected, accountability will be our motto.
After Martin Luther King was killed, Robert Kennedy made a speech and gave this country two choices. We can be angry and seek vengeance and violence, or take this thing of violence and come together and bring this country together. To the leaders of this country today, can we please move on from the stains of violence this past summer and this past January at the Capitol, and the pain that it caused, and show the importance of unity like President Biden suggested? Or is the power you seek to take and control too great to work in the unification of this country? For your constituents, the people that put you in position and pay you, and I'll add, pay you well. Hey, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week at the tavern.